XRP and the alts are at some juicy bargains. You've got mass liquidations, trade wars, and the Eastern markets are opening up, shedding more light into the pain that's happening. What do you?
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
And I apologize for the funky lights, but I only have overhead lighting in this place, nothing forward facing. But before we get into crypto news, your comments come first. Hot, spicy, naughty, relevant. Maybe I'll share at the beginning of the next video. What are we starting off? Ticey Griffiths says, Klaus, I share your channel with everyone. I know that this is just getting into cryptos and appreciates levity. Also, your little jingle at the beginning is stuck in my head, and as a musician, I've already begun to add harmony to your melody. Let me know if you want me to help you make a track. Well, thank you, Ticey, and thank you, everyone, for your supportive comments. Robert Childress says, you only get the flack when you're over the target. Keep dropping those truth bombs. And that's true. Do you believe right now that there is more positive than negative that we have to come in terms of the crypto market? Are you being shook out by this move? Or have you been doing what the silver traders have been doing? Shaking out, but you buy, and now look where you're at. Smoking Jeffrey says, I think the tongue ring intimidates a lot of people that can't handle the heat. You do a great job, brother. Appreciate all your hard work. Yeah, check out the heat map. And let me ask you an easy question. Who benefited over the last several months the most? The alts, right? So doesn't it make sense that the ones that benefit the most are going to what? Be the most susceptible to what? Corrective action. And think about it. The silver market's gotten pounded over how many years? And now look at the silver market. But oh, people were making fun if you were buying silver at $18. What about the gold markets, right? Oh, bro, you can't be buying gold at 1600. And now look at those markets. What about buying XRP at 50, 60, 70, 80 cents? 235 still sounds like you're deep in the green. Look, this is a trade war. Whose is bigger than whose? Well, who's bigger than who or what's bigger than what? That's the way to put it, right? Trump put some tariffs out there. We start seeing some softness on the market on Friday. Then you get China, Mexico, and Canada snapping back saying, yo, girlfriend, we're not going to take it. We're going to induce some tariffs on you. This is totally expected from the markets. I brought this up on Friday that you were going to have market softness leading into traditional trading hours. And I said, hey, if you believe, have your money ready. Those of you that had your money ready, what were you able to do? You were able to buy prices that you haven't seen in a long time. How long of a time? Well, let's just look at the chart here real quick and oh, yeah. Now you know what I'm talking about. You've been able to get in from what? From what you saw about a month ago. So let the traditional markets digest the news and ask yourself, will all the new regs from the SEC be bullish for crypto and the alts? Yeah, I think so. Will the ETFs be bullish for XRP in the alts? Considering there's a whole bunch of them being filed. What about all the exposure of Operation Choke Point 2.0 and deep banking and rails and all that kind of action? Exactly. I mean, I understand where people are freaking out, but you can't print the green candlesticks every day, every week. It just doesn't work that way. Zoom out on XRP and remember some of these bad times here, hanging out at 30 cents. We get up to 50 and then just get knocked back down. For real, I understand it, but we have to go through this. What else do we have to do? We have to go through liquidations as well. Because when the market's roaring, what happens? Greed takes over and people start using leverage. And what happens then? They get overexposed. So let this flush out the weak. Let this flush out those that don't understand the principles that are ahead of us. Because the time that we're in now is very different than the time I reported to you on in October. Yes, very different. Red alert, crypto markets crumble as 1.18 billion vanishes in 24 hours. Well, no kidding, 1.18 billion vanished in 24 hours because holy crap, we were printing billions on billions on billions of dollars of winners being deep in the green for like 3 months straight. And that's why I brought you this chart right here, right? Check it out. We went absolutely bonkers from 50-cent XRP November 5th to over $3. Now, the poop sandwich that we talked about earlier, yeah, sometimes the poop sandwich gets bigger. What about that housing crisis in 2008 that I brought up? Yeah, everyone still got back into houses, right? And that's my point. You have to look at what's ahead, and sometimes if it's too much for you to take, just maybe kind of back off a little bit, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Bitcoin tumbles to 97,000 as markets start to crash amid trade wars. Yeah, That's the big thing right here is the whole trade war thing. We're going to see how traditional markets take it. And trust me, the traditional markets are going to show some extreme pain on Monday. But we, because we're in crypto, are lucky to be able to buy as the action is hot and spicy. Do you buy crypto on green days? Well, I mean, if you're Michael Saylor, you are, and you use other people's money to buy it. But the strategic buyers out there know when to buy, they know when to hold, and they know when to zoom out. Overall, right? Let's look at this overall. You got trending coins, BTC down, XRP down, ETH down, SOL down. Everything is down right now. In fact, over the last 7 days, some of your biggest gainers are what, everyone? They're down the most, right? So those that gain the most are what? Often most susceptible to pressure. This is nothing new. And okay, we've got a couple different types of listeners here, okay? We've got chiseled veterans out there, we got people that kind of casually come in, and we got new players into the market. For the new players in the market, I'm telling you right now, go through the comments in previous videos and read what the OG players are talking about. They're all talking about, bro, we're not worried about this. In fact, this is a good opportunity to buy on a red light special day because of the opportunities ahead of us. Do you believe that XRP will gain more money and more traction as the case gets settled with the SEC, right? As we go through a resolution this year? I would think so. Do you think XRP will benefit as we get regs? Sure. Look what the charts tell you. The charts tell you no regs, poop, 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 right? Poop, poop, poop. People put money in, no action, money in, no action. All of a sudden, we get a new president. All of a sudden, the hype goes crazy. But what did I tell you? I said, all right, the hype's going to go nuts, but now what are we waiting for? We're waiting for the action. So we're going to be susceptible for bad news until we get the juicy news. And the juicy news is what? We're going to find out stuff on February 22nd with the SEC. We're going to find out what they want to do with strategic reserve assets shortly after that. We're going to figure out what's going to happen with the case. We're going to figure out what happens with the ETFs. We're going to have IPO players in the market. And as we get all of those things happening, what do you think's going to happen? The bigs are going to come in and they're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. So we got the regs now. We got the clarity. Cool. We can invest in crypto. The people that are in crypto right now, those you watching, you're in the risk pool, right? You're in this in the wild, wild west days. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that you're early into crypto. Don't let anyone ever tell you that. We're early in terms of the regulatory conditions being positive, right? That's the big difference right now. So I'm going to ask a bunch of you this question. Are you worried? Or are you using this as an opportunity? And hey, if it's just too rich for your blood, it's cool. No one's forcing you to do this, but my job is to bring you the news, whether it's good or bad, happy or sad. And right now, until we get the news from the SEC, until we get the news in terms of regs, until we get the news of Choke Point 2.0, we're going to have to eat some poop sandwiches. Now, is this poop sandwich a little bit bigger than what we would like? I think a lot of you would look at it that way. But I've also read a whole ton of comments. In fact, quite a few of you have even reached out to me via email and said, bro, this is freaking awesome. I am going on a buying spree. Why? Well, because like a few days ago, we were at over $3 for XRP. And what has changed fundamentally? I mean, realistically, what has changed fundamentally in terms of the crypto space? Not much. Global macros, right? And we talked about macros ruling the roost, and macros still rule the roost when it comes to crypto. That's changed. Before the tariff talk, right? We were hanging out right here at the old $3 action. Then the tariff talk comes in, and then all of a sudden we kind of have a little dive action. And then all of a sudden Canada snaps back, China snaps back, Mexico snaps back, and then it's like, okay, everyone is going into this big trade war. Everyone's trying to say, hey, who's going to bully who? Who's going to make who cave? And right now, you have to deal with that. If it's not your cup of tea, then I got to be honest with you, crypto might not be for you. But for those of you out there, especially those silver players out there, those of you that owned a home in 2008, and I expressed what happened to my house. I did. I lost 50% of my home's value in months. We couldn't even get people to walk through the door to buy the house. And I was in a small house with a growing family, 3 kids, and my wife and I were like, yo, we need to do something. And yeah, we had to eat the poop sandwich, and we ended up taking an insane discount on our house. But you know what happened? We saved up, We worked hard. And since that time, we bought several homes. Why? Because we believed in the future. We believed in the outlook. And this happens all the time. So you're going to get some credit crunch news. You're going to get some housing crunch news. You're going to get some trade wars. You're going to get some crypto crunches. You're going to get some leverages. This is normal for the markets. But I do understand those of you out there that are like, bro, this is really rough. Because you're watching your balances go down and then kind of seeing, okay, what's going to happen there? But that's also what happens to your 401ks, right? What about when the whole 9/11 thing happened and the markets absolutely plummeted? People's 401ks, their retirements just started getting washed away, right? But what happened? People are like, all right, cool. We're just going to keep investing because we believe in the long term. We believe in the prospects. And that's the difference now versus me reporting to you the news a couple months ago. A couple months ago, with Biden, Harris, and all that, you think we were going to be talking about $3 XRP? Hell no. Do you think we were going to be talking about regs and all that stuff with them being juicy on our hand? Hell no. Gensler was out there wrecking the crap out of us every day. And that's why you saw the price float between 30 to 50 cents. So, do you believe we have more good than bad coming up here in the near term? And are you taking this opportunity to either get out and kind of keep your blood pressure down, take your losses, or are you looking at this for a little bit of red light special? And seriously, I apologize for the shadows, but all I have is like the overhead lighting in this place. But the housing thing is something that I'm going to keep coming back to. When the housing market crashed in 2008, and my wife and I were just sitting there like daily watching our house values plummet, when the agent is like, dude, you got to drop your price another 5,000 just to get people to walk through the door. Then like a few days later, he's like, you might want to think another five. And before you know, I mean, we were like dropping our homes 5, 10, 15, 20,000 a month. It was nuts, right? But the whole market was experiencing that. And that's why my wife and I really weren't too freaked out because we were like, look, everyone's in the poop sandwich department right now, and we're all taking bites out of the poop sandwich. And I'll be honest with you, our house lost a lot of money, a lot of money. But it was short term. And it's the same thing with the crypto market. I would be very, very nervous. And y'all know I'm honest with you about stuff. I would be very nervous about XRP if all I saw was this. XRP was the only one down and everything else was doing fine. That would freak me out. And trust me, I would report that to you 5 ways from Friday. But this is the whole market feeling softness. And not just a housing market or a gold market. This is the crypto market. The most volatile market that I think any of us have ever gone through in our lives. But all of you out there have your own financial goals, your own financial kind of ways that you handle things. And some of you out there, I understand this might be a little bit much for you to swallow. But this is the crypto market. The crypto market is big risk, big reward. Before we had the change in political shifts, where we had the change at the SEC, CFTC, and all that, it was big risk, very little reward because the SEC and the banks, right, and those players out there were keeping us down. But now this kind of poop sandwich right here, that's gone. So now we still got some risk because we got to deal with global macros, right? We still got to deal with CPI data. We still got to deal with inflation. But what don't we have to deal with? A shitty Gensler. We now are starting to look more optimistic going forward. And in fact, right, when you look at the broader spectrum of things with the crypto markets and you zoom out a little bit, you're like, yo, bro, we were at like 50 cents like 3+ months ago. And now we're still like 4xing on that. Yeah, I know. So I understand if you don't feel good, but I also understand if you're like, bro, I'm buying the dip. F the haters out there. YOLO. I totally get it. That's why my job is to bring you the news, whether it's good or bad, happy or sad, as accurately and as quickly as possible so you can make the decision that's best for you. Now, be very cautious on Monday because you're going to see the traditional finance markets take a big turn. Why? Because they can't trade the action right now like we can. So all those players right now are sitting there going, oh crap, what do I do? What do I do? And they're waiting for the market to open. And when it opens, oh, is it going to be a mad dash for them? Guess what, though? We've already taken a bite out of our poop sandwich, and some of us will be digesting it by then. Choo choo, bitches.